Hey there fellow Commander players, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So today I thought it would be a cool idea to share with you some powerful budget-friendly cards that can be used as alternatives to expensive Commander staples within the format. You don't have to break your credit card in order to have strong cards in Commander. Many fantastic cards exist that are far cheaper to purchase. I'm going to showcase an expensive Commander staple and then show a great and cheap to buy alternative. Before we get into the list, please be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to keep updated for more of my future Commander content. So without further ado, sit back, relax and enjoy the show. Let's dive into these cards. Number 1. The Great Henge. This mighty card is now worth around $65. A fantastic alternative is Garruk's Uprising, which can be bought for around $1.80. Massive difference in price here. So, Garruk's Uprising is an enchantment that costs 1 green and 2 generic mana to cast. It says the following. When Garruk's Uprising enters, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw a card. Creatures you control have trample. Whenever a creature you control with power 4 or greater enters, draw a card. Okay, so I know the Great Henge offers way more versatility with the cheaper casting cost option, plus we can use it as a mana rock. However, Garruk's Uprising only costs 3 total mana to cast, making it very easy to get out. Plus, overall, the Garruk's Uprising can pretty much draw the same amount of cards that the Great Henge is drawing you, as long as you're playing creatures with power 4 or greater, so it does a great work in creature themed decks. Garruk's Uprising is a solid enchantment spell that offers superb card draw in creature themed decks and even gives them that wonderful trample keyword, which can help close out games. With this card being a fraction of the price of the Great Henge, I highly recommend picking a few up and trying it out for yourself. It can really do wonderful work. Number 2. Cyclonic Rift. We all have faced off against the powerful Cyclonic Rift, and if you haven't, then wow, congratulations, you have managed to escape the clutches of one of the most annoying removal spells within the Commander format. This card is currently worth around $40. A brilliant budget alternative is Spectral Deluge, I don't know, which can be bought for around $3.50. So, Spectral Deluge is a sorcery spell that costs 2 blue and 4 generic mana to cast. It says the following. I hope I've pronounced the name right, by the way. Anyway, it says the following. Return each creature your opponents control with toughness X or less to its owner's hand, where X is the number of islands you control. Foretell. 1 generic and 2 blue mana. During your turn, you may pay 2 generic mana and exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it on a later turn for its foretell cost. Spectral Deluge only hits creatures, but often when Cyclonic Rift is being used or cast, it's for that issue, as someone's board state has probably filled up with way too many creatures anyway. You get what I'm trying to say? Usually you're using Cyclonic Rift to send people's creatures back to their hands. Spectral Deluge is way cheaper to buy and offers a very handy board wipe that doesn't harm us and scales incredibly well in a mono blue deck. It does have a rather high converted mana cost of 6, however, just like Cyclonic Rift, this has an alternative casting cost. But it's a little bit different, as this one can be used to lower the amount of mana you use to cast it. Foretell is a very handy little effect. Strong board wipes are a powerful tool on Commander, and if you're running mono blue deck, Spectral Deluge is a wonderful addition for you. Number 3. Oracle of Mul Daya is a very diverse creature spell found in many landfall decks. It costs around $10 to buy at the moment. A great budget alternative is Courser of Kruphix, which costs around $2.50 to buy. Courser of Kruphix is a centaur creature spell that costs 2 green and 1 generic mana to cast. It has 2 power and 4 toughness and says the following. Play the top card of your library revealed. You may play lands from the top of your library. Landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, you gain 1 life. Okay, Courser of Kruphix is a nifty creature spell. It can be put to great use in many landfall themed decks. However, it's not restricted to just landfall. Its first line of text can be rather versatile in many sorts of decks. Being able to know what's on top of your library can be rather powerful. Shame everyone else gets to see it though. Landfall requires you to play as many lands as possible on each of your turns, and Course of Kruphix can help you achieve that goal, making it a great card to add to the 99. An overall solid card, highly recommend picking a few up. Let me know what you think. Number 4, Deflecting Swat. This card can now be bought for around $50. This is one highly cool looking card, boasting an incredible amount of target creature protection within the Commander format. A fantastic alternative is Bolt Bend, which costs around $4.50 to buy. Yeah, I know, quick disclaimer, yes, $4 is kind of expensive and not really of a budget appeal, but in this case it's way better than $50. Plus, the card is almost identical to Deflecting Swat, so why not use this card? Bolt Bend is an instant spell that costs 1 red and 3 generic mana to cast. It says the following. This spell costs 3 generic mana less to cast if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. Change the target of target spell or ability with a single target. Very good. Not only is the card art super cool, Bolt Bend is a very powerful card in Commander. I've always thought of it as the budget version of Deflecting Swat, which is crazy considering how expensive that card is these days. As we just said above, it's $50. Let's be real, if you're going to be casting this spell, most of the time it's going to be for 1 mana, as the alternative casting cost is really easy to achieve, as so many good and popular creatures within the format have power 4 or greater anyway. Plus, you likely don't care so much for other creatures with lower power in the first place, so Bolt Bend wouldn't have to be used on them anyway, so you probably don't want to cast it for the higher mana costs, unless of course they offer a superb effect that you need or want in play. In that case, pay 4 mana instead of 1. Overall, this is an excellent protection spell, and I highly recommend picking a few up if you don't own any. Number 5. Expropriate, which is a card that is now worth around $15 and has caused waves in the Commander format for many years. A great budget alternative is Timestream Navigator, which can be bought for around $1. Timestream Navigator is a human pirate wizard creature that costs 1 blue and 1 generic mana to cast. She has 1 power and 1 toughness and says the following. Ascend. If you control 10 or more opponents, you get the city's blessing for the rest of the game. For 2 blue mana and 2 generic mana and tap, put Timestream Navigator on the bottom of its owner's library. Take an extra turn after this one, activate only if you have the city's blessing. Though not as powerful as Expropriate, this creature has a far smaller casting cost and can be utilized to gain extra turns. We also put it back into our library when activated, meaning we could find ways to use it again with a cheeky tutor spell, for example. Timestream Navigator boasts 3 very popular and relevant creature typings, making it fit in many decks within the Commander format. This is certainly one illustrious creature and worth picking up. Hey guys, quick little break here to talk about Paramount Designs. They make amazing playmats for Magic the Gathering and any other card game that you're interested in. I have a special offer code that you can collect in my YouTube description below. Really easy, scroll down to the description, click the link, and you're going to get like a 15% discount on your next order from Paramount Designs. Highly recommend doing it. These designs are super durable and they have amazing artwork. There's loads of stuff you can pick from. Great stuff. So yeah, check them out. Let's go back to the video. Number 6. Okay, Ristic Study. This card costs around $40 today. Do you pay 1? Those words have been drilled into me countless times over the last decade, and I love to hate it. Don't get me wrong, I own a few Ristic Studies myself. The card is amazing, it does so much great work, but it's so annoying to play against. With the ever-strong Ristic Study costing so much to buy these days, a very good and cheaper alternative is Mangara the Diplomat, which can be bought for as little as $1.50. Far cheaper, right? Mangara the Diplomat is a legendary creature, human cleric that costs 1 white and 3 generic mana to cast. He has 2 power and 4 toughness and says the following. Lifelink. Whenever an opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you and or planeswalkers you control, draw a card. Whenever an opponent casts a second spell each turn, draw a card. I feel like Mangara is a very important card within the Commander format. This is because for me, I see him as the pivot point for when White started to get better within Commander. Upon Mangara's release and after, White has been gaining some really cool spells, many of which offering superb card draw, which was a mechanic that White always lacked in my opinion. Mangara offers card draw in a quirky yet highly effective manner, and I think it's brilliantly designed. It does wonderful things in White, and it does great things in Commander. I'm a big fan of this one, and I highly recommend picking one up if you don't own a copy. Number 7, the final cards on my list today. Teferi's Protection, which costs around $40 to buy at the moment. Crazy to think that I got my copy years ago within the Edgar Markov deck, and I paid like $30 for the whole deck. Madness to think, Edgar is worth like $100 at the moment. That deck was a great investment. Anyway, a great budget alternative is Gideon's Sacrifice, which can be bought for a minute 35 cents. Massive difference in price here. Gideon's Sacrifice is an instant spell that costs 1 white mana to cast and says the following. Choose a creature or a planeswalker you control. All damage that would be dealt this turn to you and permanents you control is dealt to the chosen permanent instead, if it's still on the battlefield. Okay, so in my opinion, this card is actually insanely good. Stop and have a think about it. Let's say we have an opponent attacking us with loads of creatures, heaps of them, dealing something like, 40 damage to us or more. All we have on the field is a token and perhaps another odd small creature. We can cast this spell at instant speed for just 1 white mana and stop any fatal damage coming our way, instead redirecting all of it to a token we control or a planeswalker we control. A very powerful defensive spell that could save you and perhaps help you win the game. We can even utilize it to save our creatures as well from damage. Of course, Teferi's Protection is a way better option, but that card costs a heck of a lot of money to buy at the moment. Gideon's Sacrifice is a solid card for sure, and you can't really complain at 35 cents. Okay everyone, we have come to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for making it this far. If you did enjoy the video, please could you drop a like, comment and subscribe to the channel. What do you think of the cards I've listed? I would really like to know your thoughts. Please share what you think in the comment section below and let me know if you have any alternative recommendations. I love reading your comments and always try my best to answer them all. Thanks for watching everyone, and as always, take care and goodbye.